Hello everyone, Sharpedo43 once again, bringing you all another Wi-Fi battle. This is actually going to be my 100 battle, by the way. It's going to be done in the UU tier once again, and my opponent for it is actually going to be Shady. Not Shady YT from the PMU, but Shadypenguinn. He's actually another content creator that's actually well known in the Pokemon community. He was actually looking for Wi-Fi battles, and I definitely had to take up on his challenge because Shadypenguinn is actually someone who I've actually watched in the Oraz days, because he actually did a lot of Wi-Fi battles back in the days. Although since Sun and Moon, he actually hasn't really been doing many until recently, which was like a month ago or something. He actually was looking for Wi-Fi battles, and I was like, you know what, we gotta see if we can take up on this challenge, because this might be the last time he actually does Wi-Fi battles. We never know. But yeah, so I managed to get this battle with Shady. Now Shady is actually somebody who is actually surprisingly enough friends with Mr.Talent, which I actually didn't know, and he's actually also somebody I've never actually had connections with. So for the first time ever, I'm actually battling someone who I've had no connections with whatsoever, like no interactions. I don't watch his content very often, at least not nowadays, because I did used to watch it back in the days, but not anymore because he kind of stopped doing Wi-Fi battles for a while. So I used to watch Shady mostly for Wi-Fi battles. So when he stopped doing them, I just kind of stopped watching him. Not because I hate him or anything, it's just because, you know, I only watch things that I like, you know, pique my interest, but that's just me. So yeah, but yeah, we're gonna actually battle here, and this is actually interesting that it takes place on my 100 battle, because I actually did have a lot of other Wi-Fi battles that I had saved that I had to showcase, and it just all happened to coincide with this battle with Shady being my 100 battle. But either way, let's get into the teams real quick, because I don't want to be talking too much. So what I have is a very familiar team. Obviously, it's one that you've seen if you've actually watched my videos on YouTube in the past. The reason why I'm using it against Shady is because it's not only one of my more efficient teams, but it's also a team that has Sharpedo in it. And you know how I am when it comes to battling brand new content creators. I always want to see if I can debut with a team that has Sharpedo in it, you know. But Shady, on the other hand, now Shady has a really scary team. It's a lot of stuff that I've seen before in the UU tier, but these are all combined and it looks really scary. He has a potentially Choice Scarf Hydreigon, a potentially Evilated Doublade, a potential Z-moving Zeraora, a potential Stealth Rocking Swampert, a potential Mega Aerodactyl, which hits really hard and it's faster than a lot of my team, and a potential Thunder Waving Togekiss with Air Slash, which, yeah, that's annoying in and of itself. So we're gonna see what we can do in this battle. Let's see if we can actually win for the first battle against Shadypenguinn. Really nice fellow. He actually is one of the more nicer people in the Pokemon community, it should be noted, because we definitely need more people like that in the community, given that there's a lot of savages in the Pokemon community, myself included. But what are you gonna do? Either way, he's going to lead off with Hydreigon, and I'm going to lead off with Latias. Because my Latias is Choice Scarf, this is supposed to be an ideal matchup for me. But unfortunately, I kind of thought that he would switch out, predicting a Draco Meteor attempt first turn. So because of that, I actually ended up doubling into Nidoking right here. And he actually goes for the U-turn, giving himself switch initiative, which is really bad, because that was not what I was expecting him to do. I thought he would switch into Togekiss easy, but he didn't. So yeah, here he U-turns and he goes into Swampert. And now I'm forced to switch out because I don't want to take an Earthquake from this thing, or a Scald for that matter. So I switch into Primarina here, hoping he goes for not Earthquake. He definitely goes for Scald though, which is good for me because that means he also doesn't get Rock Slip. And now I can hit something on his team really hard for damage. I go for the Sparkling Area here. I wanted to go for Hydro Pump, but if that move misses, I get no damage whatsoever. So he's actually going to switch out and go into Togekiss, and I go for Sparkling Area once again. And this is Choice Specs boosted, so I'm hoping this is at least a 2-hit KO. And it does seem to be. Unfortunately, this Togekiss actually has leftovers though, so because of that, you're going to see right now that as I go for this second Sparkling Aria here, that it's just barely not going to be able to take it out. And I'm actually wondering if that was actually based on a roll or not. And if it was, then it really sucks that it survives, because now this thing is going to retaliate with a Thunder Wave, leaving my Primarina kind of slow and potentially vulnerable in the sense that it can be fully paralyzed. So because I feel like either it can Roost right now, or just go for the Air Slash shenanigans, I decided to switch out into Nidoking, hoping he goes for Roost. Unfortunately, he's actually going to end up going for the Air Slash rather than the Roost though, unfortunately. So because of that, my Nidoking is going to take quite an amount of damage, because Togekiss is actually really powerful on the special attacking side. So yeah, here I'm not going to go for the Stealth Rocks, because if he stays in and just goes for another Air Slash, he'll take out my Nidoking. And I don't want to go for Earth Power, because if he switches in Hydreigon for whatever reason, I'm not going to get any damage on anything. So I decided to go for the Ice Beam rather than Sludge Wave. It was more so for a middle ground play, if anything. So I do get some good damage on the Swampert at the very least. So now I'm going to switch out. and go into Latias right here, because Latias can take a Scald as well, and I don't want Primarina to take more damage, especially now that it's paralyzed. So here I'm gonna go for Psychic as he gets his Stealth Rocks up, and I was actually debating if I wanted to go for Psychic or not though, because Draco Meteor, I wanted to believe it can actually take it out from where it's at right now, but at the same time I didn't feel confident, so I just went for Psychic instead. And it is gonna be a 2-hit KO. But what he's actually going to do here, instead of going for any ice move, which was what I was afraid of initially, he's actually going to roar me and actually phase me into Sharpedo, which is fine with me, honestly, because I can at least get some damage with this thing now. I can actually go for a devastating Crunch. I actually stay as regular Sharpedo here, just going for Crunch, hoping I can actually take out this Swampert from where it's at, and if it doesn't, then I'm hoping I can at least survive the Earthquake that may come afterwards. And then from there, depending on what he sends out, I can actually just go for Crunch just to get some damage, and then lose Sharpedo, but that's not what happens actually. I actually do get to take out the Swampert, and now he's actually going to bring in the Hydreigon, which I'm already convinced is Scarfed. And right here, I'm actually going to switch out because I'm not confident that Sharpedo can actually take out the Hydreigon with an Ice Fang after Mega Evolution, because it's at full HP. So I switch in Primarina expecting a Draco Meteor, and that's exactly what happens. He goes for Draco Meteor, now he's forced to switch out. He actually goes into Togekiss, potentially sacking it, as I go for a Sparkling Area right here. Unfortunately for me though, I actually do get fully paralyzed, so this pretty much doesn't let me take out the Togekiss, which is really bad because this Togekiss hits a lot of my team really hard with that Air Slash. Now here, for some reason, and I do believe this was most so because I was actually fearing the Roost from this Togekiss, but I actually do stay in trying to go for another Sparkling Area just to take out the Togekiss. But he does actually end up going for Air Slashes, just trying to para-flinch me basically. And it is working, unfortunately, but unfortunately for me, I'm not actually making the wise decision of switching into Tornadus perhaps to actually take on this Togekiss. And unfortunately, I just let Primarina go down. This was definitely a misplay if there ever was one, honestly, because this Primarina could have been really useful, even paralyzed, against most of his team, because it doesn't one-shot my Primarina, and I can definitely hit something really hard for damage. The ideal play here should have been to go into Tornadus and just go for the Z Hurricane. But I didn't do that, so as a result I lost Primarina instead. Now here I'm actually going to go into Nidoking and actually go for the Sludge Wave. I was hoping he wouldn't switch into anything else, honestly, just because I wanted this Togekiss out of the way as soon as possible. It already took out my Primarina, which isn't good, so I just want to take out the Togekiss now. Now here he's actually going to go into the Hydreigon, and I actually wanted to see what he locks himself into. He goes for Dark Pulse, which is fine with me. I was hoping he would go for U-turn, over predicting, but he actually doesn't. But here, nonetheless, I'm going to go into Sharpedo because Sharpedo does resist Dark Pulse, and I can get one free Speed Boost without protecting, and then I can protect again later. But as you're going to see right here, this actually ends up costing me because what happens here is he actually ends up getting the flinch, and I don't get any damage on this Hydreigon before I go for the Ice Fang when Mega Evolving. So because of that, I'm going to go for another Protect nonetheless because I actually want to get the +2 speed. And this is the only time I can actually get the +2 speed, because any other time he can actually get away with setting up or switching out or something. So yeah, here I'm going to Mega Evolve and actually go for the Ice Fang finally. This was something I could have done earlier, but I didn't want to do it because I knew that the Hydreigon was going to survive, and if it survives he just KOs me with a Draco Meteor. But here in this case he went for Dark Pulse. Unfortunately it flinches me though, and because of that flinch, you're going to see right here that this Ice Fang doesn't actually take out the Hydreigon. In fact, it actually survives on 1 HP according to Shady. And this allows it to take out my Mega Sharpedo, which really sucks. I was hoping the Sharpedo would actually put in work this time around, and it really did look like it could have. But because of that flinch, it actually just doesn't get to do really anything. So now here I just send out Latias, which I end up going for Hidden Power Fire just to take it out. And now this was also a misplay, because he now knows that I'm Scarf because I outsped it. He now can just bring in Mega Aerodactyl just to take a hit, maybe even set up in my face if he really wanted to, because I'm locked into Hidden Power Fire, and you know that Mega Aerodactyl resists. So because of that, I switch out. Obviously I tried going into Beware here. However, unfortunately for me, as you saw, I did not get to switch out immediately. He actually gets the Mega Ball first before he actually goes for a move, and the reason for that is because he turns out to have Pursuit, which is a move I actually did not expect. I actually thought he would try to go for Crunch here, but he actually had Pursuit on that Mega Aerodactyl, which was something I was not expecting, which really sucks. And now because of that, now I'm pretty much left with Beware and Tornadus. Tornadus can't do anything on what's left of his team, so it's only up to Beware to actually take care of the rest of his team. Unfortunately for me though, he's actually going to go for Earthquake right here, and I actually went for Earthquake myself, predicting that Doublade to come in to take a Superpower or return. And because of that, now I'm forced to switch out because my Beware is actually Choice Banded, and I was only able to make Like, I had to make all the guesses correctly here in terms of what he was going to do, and unfortunately I just didn't call it right there. He goes for another Earthquake here, and what I'm going to do right here is actually go for the Z Tailwind. This doesn't really matter, honestly. The only thing this does is actually boost my critical hit ratio, but the only move I can actually hit this Aerodactyl with is actually the Superpower. But he'd have to miss a Stone Edge here if he actually has it. If he has Rock Slide, I'd have to hope he misses that too. Unfortunately, he does not miss with Stone Edge and actually takes out my Tornadus-I, leaving me with only Beware. And because my Beware is Choice Banded, I have to lock myself into a move, whether it be Earthquake or Superpower. Here, because it's against Mega Aerodactyl, I have to go for Superpower, hoping he stays in. Unfortunately, he now calls my Superpower attempt and just goes into Doublade. And I pretty much just lose from here, because, yeah, I can't switch up my move to Earthquake because I'm Choice Banded, like I said. Here he's going to go for a Shadow Sneak. I don't know why. Maybe he thought I could switch up my move and just go for something else, and he wanted to go for a Last Ditch Earthquake, Shadow Sneak. But, I mean, I'm a normal type, so at the same time, I don't know why would he go for that. Maybe it was a misclick, I don't know. But here he's actually going to switch it up finally to Sacred Sword as the Tailwind peters out. Not that it matters because I can't do anything with this Beware now as long as this Doublade's around. I was actually hoping I could take this thing out with Sharpedo at the very least, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. So this Beware is finally going to get finished off by Doublade, and I'm basically going to lose this battle 3-0. I mean, let me be honest with you, there was a lot of RNG in this battle that was in my opponent's favor, but nonetheless, I did have a chance to play this. I did have a chance to win this battle, is what I want to say, if I actually made the appropriate plays. For example, if I didn't let my Primarina go down to the Togekiss, if I made the switch into Tornadus to go for the Z move there, whether or not he switched into Doublade, I could have gotten some damage on something, and then from there I could have reacted accordingly, but instead I actually just let Primarina go down, which was a solid answer to a lot of his team, honestly, because not a whole lot takes hits from it, obviously. And then from there, I think the only RNG that mattered in this battle, like, because the one from the Togekiss and whatnot, that could have been avoided, but the one with Sharpedo where I got flinched with Dart Pulse, that one actually was probably the one that mattered a lot, because if I got that crunch off, the Hydreigon would have gone down, and what he could have done was send in Doublade, Shady that is. He could have sent in Doublade after I take out the Hydreigon with Sharpedo. Hope he can take a crunch, because I do believe he can take a crunch from Mega Sharpedo, and then hit me with a Sacred Sword and then just take me out that way. And then from there, I don't know, from there it really could have gone either way. I would have had more mons to work around his team, honestly, but because of the flinch, pretty much I was limited to a bunch of things. I wouldn't have to use Mega Latias for hidden power firing, honestly, if I at least got rid of the Hydreigon and got the Doublade severely weakened. So, but either way, that was actually it was a good battle nonetheless, and it was a fun battle, especially given that it was a battle with Shadypenguinn of all people. I actually, if anything, I'm actually quite honored to have actually been able to battle this guy. Like, I don't have a lot of attachment to this guy as much as I do Mr.Talent, but I mean, the guy's still a nice fella, and he actually noticed me when I said GG. Like, usually people of this guy's caliber don't really pay attention to what you say, so, but this guy actually did, and it's actually kind of nice that he did, honestly. So yeah, GG once again, Shady, and if you people don't know who Shadypenguinn is, I'll just leave his handles in the description below. And if you're actually one of those skeptical people who think that this is not actually Shadypenguinn and that this is actually some kind of poser, I'll actually leave his side of the battle in the description below as well, because he actually did upload his side of the battle. So yeah, but with all that said, thank you all for watching this 100 battle, and hope to catch you guys in another battle. But for now, just take it easy and have yourselves a damn good one.